Transport Fever 3 was announced not too long ago and is currently still set to release 2026. And although news have been somewhat light on the sequel, in a recent Q&A on Gaming Bolt, they had an interview with the developers where some new information regarding this title was revealed. I will leave a link to this in the description and the pinned comment below, and I recommend you check it out for yourself to have the full overview of what was said. But essentially, Transport Fever 3 is shaping up to be more than just a polished sequel. In this new developer Q&A, Urban Games dives into the game's biggest changes, detailing improvements to Tycoon mechanics, environment variety, citizen simulation, and much more. Their vision is essentially clear: to deliver a more dynamic, reactive, and long-term rewarding transport simulation. Here is essentially everything that was talked about in this Q&A. The first question talks about big new features that we will see in Transport Fever 3 compared to its predecessors, and while many fans are eager for new things like helicopters, contracts, day-night cycles, the devs made it clear that the true upgrade is deeper than that, stating, quote, "In the past, the Tycoon aspect of the game has been the area most in need of a significant upgrade. We've had this great transport building game, but it's never quite worked as a challenging Tycoon." End quote. This time around, the Tycoon mechanics are the heart of the gameplay. Every decision has a consequence. Choosing efficiency over reach might improve your bottom line, but it can leave parts of the map underserved, which in turn affects city growth and industrial output. The developers emphasize that to create a meaningful and fun Tycoon experience, they had to lean hard into the economics and trade-offs of running a real transport empire. The creative core does remain though, as the team reassures that all the mod support, customization, and creative build options will continue in the game, and they've all been given attention as well. The second question talks about environments and how that will affect gameplay, as terrain and environment have been reimagined from the ground up. Previously, maps were generated by engineers, and while technically competent, they often ended up feeling similar. That approach has changed, as they state, quote, "For Transport Fever 3, we made a philosophical change. Instead of map generation being led by the engineering team, it's been reworked by our designer." End quote. The difference is substantial. Geography now plays a direct role in logistics. Mountain ranges are taller, valleys transition realistically into rivers and forests, and erosion behaves differently in deserts versus temperate climates. For example, crossing a canyon with a freight train feels radically different than threading a passenger line through swampy lowlands. What's more, even within a single biome like the subarctic, the natural seeding of sub-biomes result in unexpected terrain variations. The devs promise, quote, 3 different subarctic maps will have 3 very different feels to them, end quote. So essentially, each map is its own challenge. They then talk about citizens and how they essentially have their own lives, as agent simulations has existed in the series before, but now it's been taken even further. Every citizen has a home, a job, and a purpose, and they'll pursue that purpose even if your network doesn't support them. They stated, quote, "If the player does not provide a needed means of transport, the citizens will find one for themselves." End quote. In early settlements, this might mean a trickle of cars or bicycles, but as towns grow, traffic congestion can choke progress, causing cities to stagnate. This forces players to plan infrastructure proactively, not reactively, and gives real stake to neglecting public transport. They also stated, quote, "If a player wants to build megacities, they're going to have to work very hard to keep those cities' populations moving effectively." End quote. Essentially, cities now depend on you, not just in theory, but in a real simulated system. They also went to talk about regions and biomes affecting route maintenance, as previously maintenance used to be a passive cost, a line item that you paid and forgot about. That's no longer the case. In Transport Fever 3, vehicles that aren't well maintained will underperform. They stated, quote, "This could be a reduction in capacity, pulling power, top speed, loading speed, nothing good." End quote. This turns maintenance into a meaningful layer of gameplay, where and when you place depots now matters. errors, especially in difficult terrain. Some maps may not punish you with harsher wear and tear, but performing maintenance effectively in those environments becomes a logistics challenge in itself. So you'll be expected to budget and plan not just for routes, but for the upkeep of everything that runs on them. One of the most exciting questions that they asked about was new industries that we can expect, and it is certainly one of the most exciting new additions to the game. Offshore industries like oil rigs, sand excavators, and fishing farms are some of those that we can expect. These don't just require you to ship goods, you may also need to transport workers to and from these sites. But it gets more complex. Goods are now time sensitive. Let them sit at a hub too long and you'll pay the price. Warehousing helps, but it's not the solution. The dev stated, quote, "In the past, you've been able to allow mountains of goods to build up at transit interchanges, but not anymore," end quote. To succeed, you'll have to plan routes not just for efficiency, but for timing. Additionally, industries now unlock dynamically based on settlement demand and biome. You won't see every industry on every map, and some won't appear until cities reach certain growth thresholds. They also stated, quote, "The result of this is that there is a significant need to evolve your plans as the world changes," end quote. This fundamentally changes long-term strategy. The second last question talks about tools for laying routes and rails, as the team's main goal was to reduce frustration and make the tools serve the player's vision. Whether it's a two-city express train or a sprawling urban transit system, the interface should help, not hinder. They stated, quote, "The tools should always be an extension of your thought process as a player, not a hindrance," end quote. Continuous track laying has been added for quick builds, but this granular control remains for experienced players. Road construction tools have also been upgraded to improve traffic management, crucial for larger settlements. Light rail has received more depth as well, giving you more flexibility to address mid and late game public transport challenges. And finally, they asked about console launch and performance plans, where they mentioned PS5, PS5 Pro, Xbox Series S and X, and as the game is still in alpha, performance targets aren't final just yet. That said, the team confirmed that Transport Fever 3 is being developed for PC and console simultaneously, meaning full optimization across platforms is top priority before launch. They stated, quote, "We're launching on console and PC simultaneously, so optimization is definitely on our schedule before launch," end quote. This is quite a big thing because Transport Fever 2 launched on PC long before it launched on consoles, so seeing it launch together will be interesting, but the question still remains on if we will see mod support launch on consoles the same time as PC. So essentially, this Q&A does prove that the developers is taking bold steps toward true systemic depth, giving players meaningful reasons to care about infrastructure, population needs, and economic timing. With the redesigned Tycoon core, reactive environments, living cities, and new logistical demands, Transport Fever 3 seems like it won't just be another transport builder, and that has me really excited. But what about the Q&A are you most excited about? And let me know in the comments below what you hope to see from Transport Fever 3. If you like this video, then give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, then give me a thumbs down. But please tell me why so I can improve my videos. Until next time, have a fantastic day and stay safe.